everyone. You've started your new unit on data management, and you started off by reading some bar graphs and looking for some data or some information in the bar graphs. And bar graphs are something we learned even in grade 1, so hopefully you were doing well with that. Today you're going to learn a new kind of graph to look at data and to show information on, and it is called line plots. So like all kind of graphs, the first thing you need is data, or you need information, which means you've gone out and collected some information by maybe asking a survey question. All right, so maybe you asked someone what their favorite food is, and then you give some choices and you get people to vote, and then you keep track. And that's how we're used to collecting data, by asking questions and getting some votes or counting up some information. So today I have some information here on this chart, and it's about the number of books read. So maybe this is a grade 2 class, and there are some students in this class who have been reading. Maybe it was for something like the readathon. So I've managed to use a bit of a pictograph here to show you the number of books and how many people read that amount of books. So let's have a look at my information. So right now I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 as number of books that students could have read. All right, and we can see that there are 3 students who were not able to read any books. No students here just read 1 book. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 students here who have read 2 books. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students who have read 3 books. And we have 2 students who have read 4 books. And then no one read 5. All right. So using this information, we can then graph this data on in different types of graphs. So you're used to the bar graphs where if it was showing 3, we would color the bar up to the number 3. So line plots are a little bit similar, but they do look different. A line plot starts with a line. Okay, and we'll try and get that nice and straight for you. All right, now, when I show you the line like this, I want you to picture part of a number line, okay? So in a line plot, you've taken a section of the number line. So you are allowed to choose what part of the number line you're going to use. So for example, if you have some data that does not start at 0, you can start your line plot at any number you want, and you can end it at any number you want. Okay, so it does not have to go on and on forever. And if you are doing numbers in the 20s or 30s, you don't have to start all the way at 0. You can just choose the range that your data is in. Okay, in this case, though, if I look at my chart, my number does start at 0. So I'm going to go ahead and start my number line for my line plot at 0. So I'm going to put 0 here. Okay, now if I look here on my on my data, I can see that nobody has 1. But when you do the line plot, you do have to put the number 1 in, because remember that this is like a number line, so you can't skip any numbers. So even if you don't have data for that number, you still have to have that number on the line of your line plot. So then I'll go to 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And now if I look at my data again, I don't have anything past 5. So again, I don't have to keep going. I can stop now. I don't need to add more numbers. All right, but you definitely want to make sure that you don't skip numbers. So in other words, this has to be in number order. All right, so now let's start to graph. So I can see here, 0 has 3 people. Now in a line plot, you're not drawing a bar, like a bar graph. Instead, you're going to use an X to represent each person. So your line plot's going to look like this. So 3 people read 0. Now I'm not going to draw any X's for 1 because I want to show that that's 0. Now 2 has 4, so I'm going to go ahead and do 4 X's here. And then 3 has 5, so and then 4 has 2. And then again for 5, I'm just going to leave it empty, no X's. All right, so now I have all my data plotted on my line plot, and now I can see all my information nice and clearly. And at this point, there may be some questions that you want to answer, or some conclusions that you want to make. So let's start with this one here. What was the largest number of books read? So the largest number of books read. The trickiest part, I think, of a line plot is knowing what the X's mean and what the numbers mean, and really keeping that straight. So if I'm looking for the books read, okay, that's these numbers here. Okay, so what was the largest number of books read? Okay, if I look here, then the largest number, or the highest number of books read would be 4, because nobody read 5. So I'm looking here and I'm going to put 4. Now, like I said, it's a bit tricky. Some people see the word largest and go right to the one with the most X's. But those X's are not showing the book numbers. These are showing the number of books, and the X's are showing the people. So I really want you to remember that. The X's are the people, and that will really help you to keep that straight. Okay? Now it says how many people read 3 books. Okay, so now I know I'm counting the X's for that. How many people read 3 books? So now I know that these are the books, so I'm going to go to 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people read 3 books. Now, you may have questions like this which show a comparison. It might be fewer, it might be more. All right, we're used to answering those kind of questions with bar graphs as well. How many fewer people read 4 books than 3 books? So again, I have to look at the people of 4 and 3. So here's where I'm looking, 3 and 4. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 who read 3, and 2 who read 4. All right, so if I want to know how many fewer people read 4, that means fewer means less. So how many fewer? Well, 3 is up here at 5, and so it would be 1, 2, 3 fewer. Okay? And I can also get that answer anytime I do questions that have words like how many more, how many fewer. That is always finding the difference, which we know is subtraction. So I can always take that higher number, which is 5, and then subtract the lower number and get 3 that way, finding the difference. How many more, how many fewer. All right? So again, looking to see, making sure you're reading the numbers properly and the X's properly. All right, what was the largest number of books? This could always also be called the most common. All right, the one that had the most people. So really paying really careful attention to the wording of your questions, and remembering that the X's represent the people. So have fun reading and drawing line plots today.